All right, this Saturday, world-class Speedway returns to Western Australia, which, by the way, is one of the birthplaces of Motor Speedway. Out at the Pinjar Park, the second running of the Rob Woffinden Classic. Joining me in the studio for this online exclusive is Mike Carter from Speedway Motorcycle Club WA, as well as two of the riders, Nicolai Klindt, I'm hoping I've got that right, and a really tricky one from England, Simon Stead. I knew I'd get yours wrong because it's so simple. Thanks for joining us, guys. Firstly, I'll go to Mike. Mike, this event, it's a second year. The first year was just a runaway success. So how hard was it to back up and get good talent in for the second running of the Classic?
Oh, look, it is difficult to get the riders because they've just come off the back of a heavy commitment in the European season, and often riders are looking for a good break. So but we tend to have a fair degree of success. People like coming out here. It's good weather and something completely different. So yeah, it's not too bad. We tend to get some good talent.
There's worse places in the world to come for Speedway than Perth, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Now, can you just run us through, besides the two guys, we'll get to Nicolai and Simon in a moment, but who are some of the big guns that you've been able to track this year as for second running? Well,
we in addition to Nicolai Klindt and Simon Stead, we've got Ty Proctor, which is one of our top Australian riders. We've got some real up-and-coming riders in Rasmus Jensen, which is a young Danish rider that's just coming into his own in the sport. Cameron Heaps and Joe Jacobs that run in the National and Premier Leagues. We've also got Ricky Kling, which is a favourite at Pinjar. Has been here before.
You've referred to him as the wow factor.
Yes. He's produced some good racing, and Simon can attest to that. And we've also got at the last minute we got Ricky Wells from America, and he's a former US champion, and we're looking forward to him being here because he's a short track specialist. All the tracks in America are pretty small, and we're expecting him to be pretty action around there. We've got Cameron Woodward. The list goes on. I've probably forgotten someone, so I apologise for that, but the list goes on.
Oh, the best way to introduce yourself is to probably get out there on Saturday night. But the Pinjar Park track, that is a small track. It's a tight track.
It is a very small track. It's probably half the size of the track that these guys would normally race in Europe. It is a very tight track, quite demanding, but puts on some spectacular racing. Is
it particularly small because Ricky Wells is a pseudo-Australian because he was born in New Zealand? Are we trying to favour him? Or?
No. It was actually built that way because it's the maximum size track we're allowed to run juniors. We have a very big junior program, so we built the track so they can run. And support the seniors at the same time. It's a bit of a compromise.
All right, brilliant. Well, we'll go to the riders themselves now. Simon, I'll go to Simon first. You're part of the English Premier League of riding. The tracks in England, I'm sure it's dirt. But does coming to Perth, because you come out here a fair whack, does that present a difference? Is a difference in surface, I guess, is the question I'm asking. Dirt is dirt.
Slightly different. There's different context to the surfaces. Some are more clay based, whereas some are more shale based. The action will be good. It's such a tight track that we've got at Pinjar, which obviously creates good close racing. Sometimes when you've got big open spaces, you've got four riders out there giving it some, but it can space out. The beauty of Pinjar Park is action on, fully close up, and it's pretty spectacular. So the surfaces do alter a little bit, but the action on track will still be as hot as ever.
Yeah, because you've obviously had a chance to see the track itself. Are there any concerns about how tight those the turns are going to be? Because there's no real switch off, is there? There is basically turn, straight, turn. There's no turn, straight, turn.
Not really. It's, the characteristics are obviously the same regardless of whether it's a big track or a small track. It will be a little bit more demanding, but I've ridden it before. I was invited last year and did it last year, so I had a little bit of a track time on it and really enjoyed it. It's a great track to ride, some good racing, good passing lines. So all in all, it'd be a great event Saturday.
And Nicolai, you're from Denmark, Denmark rider or Danish rider, whatever. But the tracks coming to Australia, are you presented? I mean, the heat. Straight up, the heat, does that bother you coming to even the European summer doesn't really compete with our Australian summer, does it?
No, I was talking about with the guys I'm staying at last night, and your winter is our summer, and when we have like 30 degrees or something like that, that's really hot for us. And I would say we got more humidity and more moisture in the air, so it feels hotter than this, but I think I'll cope with it down here. Like they say, it's going to be 36 on Saturday, so we'll see if I'll be drained.
Now, there's going to be good crowds out at Pinjar Park. There's no doubt about that, because everyone's talking about this event. But it's still probably not going to be the size that you're used to when you're doing the European racing circuit. Can you just, for the Australian online listeners and viewers, can you just explain what it's like in the European circuit?
It's big. It is big. Like we got fully seated stadiums around Sweden and Poland, and in England there's big crowds as well, but it's more the stadium like they got down here, because they got the greyhound tracks around it, so it's not that close to the track as it is in Poland and Sweden, but yeah, racing big, you know. Yeah,
we in England we obviously we run ground shares with either a football club or generally running alongside the greyhounds, so tracks are built into the stadiums, whereas in Sweden and Poland where it is bigger, massive all-seater stadiums holding 25,000-30,000 people, and they'll be absolutely packed. So you know, the commitment's greater over there. The money is better over there. Obviously, off the back of the size of the crowd, but the pressure's greater as well. You know, when you're racing in front of crowds like that, they expect results, especially from the international riders out there bringing across from different countries. So the pressure's greater, but it's such a buzz racing in front of crowds like that.
Well, I'll ask you then, what's the incentive to come out to Australia?
The beauty of the place is that it is a small track, so although we might be not attracting tens of thousands of people, because of the size of the stadium, the atmosphere is awesome. And you know, like we touched on before, the pull of coming out here and just, you know, being able to do a couple of race meetings and enjoy your sunshine and your hospitality it's awesome.
Stay away from our women.
Yeah, good.
There is, because I was looking at the specs, one thing that actually startled me when I was looking at the specs on the bikes: one gear, no brakes.
Mm-hmm.
How do you explain that to your parents, particularly your mothers, when you say, I'm going to take up this sport, Mum, it's motorbike, but don't stress, it's not complicated, there's no brakes on these things?
My mum was pretty cool with it. My dad brought me into the sport, and she was with us from the start. But sometimes, you know how mums they
Yeah.
care about you, don't they?
Yeah.
And
my mum was worried about me swimming. So,
and especially in Denmark, some on the lower levels, like some mums actually jumped onto the tracks if their son crashed or something like that. But my mum haven't done that, luckily.
Yeah.
But I don't know how's your mum.
Yeah, so I'm pretty relaxed about it, actually. You know, it's you know, I had a couple of sketchy moments where he'd been laid up in hospital or something, and she's like, are you sure this is what you want to do? But you know, you keep that's the nature of the sport. You know what you're getting yourself into, and you know, I've always had full support from my family, which is important. But we know what we're getting into, and you know, it's a buzz. And to you know, I could have an office job, and you know, we're fortunate to have a job where we're paid for doing something that we love doing.
Because there is an argument that Speedway started in America, but that's hogwash, especially when you start talking about the way the bikes are designed, because that's a typical Australian design, to not overcomplicate things. Just keep it simple. 2 wheels and an engine, that's all we need. Steering was optional, I'm sure of it. But just run us through, because you guys are good mates. You're getting along. Before I switched on the camera and everything, you guys were chatting and just reminiscing. When you're going around a corner at, say, what is it? What are you hitting those corners at? What speed?
It really depends on the size, but you know, it's hard to gauge.
Like, I don't know,
anywhere between probably, you know, on the real small tracks, 80 k's up to plus 100. You know,
10, 20
on
maybe
the bigger tracks.
I mean, it seems to me a recipe for an accident, but you know, they are few and far between, thankfully. But you two guys, if you're racing off in a final, there's going to be no graces given.
Mm.
How do you leave it on the track? Because that is an adrenaline fuel fired sport you're participating in. How do you stay mates when potentially you're putting each other at risk?
it ain't that difficult, I would say. Like, for example, if me and Simon had a bit of a clash during the heat, then he'll be angry, I'll be angry, but then after we'll be good mates again. That's the good thing about the sport. Like, it happens on the track, and we get our helmets off, we're okay again, and that's how it should be, because it's 110% on the track, and you don't have any French stares. But when you go into the pits again, you can have a laugh and a joke about it.
And what about, because you've got some of the up-and-coming riders in these events as well, is there a little bit of extra give for them if they do sort of forget to, I don't know, make way for the person who's got the tyre in front, or I'm not sure what the protocol is, but if they make I guess a mistake in etiquette, do you just give them a gentle tap on the shoulder, or do you all get together and give them a serious dressing down?
I think it's difficult. You know, there's obviously a mutual respect between riders on the track. You know how far you can push them. When it comes down to the younger guys, you do have to give them, you know, the benefit of the doubt a little bit. You know, we've all been there. You know, we've all pushed it a little bit too hard at some stage. So, like Nicolai touched on it before, but there's always an amount you can push a rider. If somebody's faster than you can try and make it as hard as possible for them to make a manoeuvre past you. But as long as you leave them a little bit of racing room and a little bit of grace, then I think everybody's happy. If you've done that and there is a bit of a coming together, then, you know, it gets sorted out. You know, there'll be another race, and it'll get sorted out and forgotten about in the pits after. There's a mutual respect between racers, and that's normally the recipe for a good night's racing, and I think we've got that on Saturday.
And after this event's all done and dusted, what sort of word do you take back to Europe? Do you actively encourage more and more of the top riders like yourself to come and participate in this event, the birthplace of Speedway in the world?
I would say definitely. I was actually going to bring one of my mates from Denmark with me down here, but the place got took by another rider. I actually think it was Ricky Welsh. So I think there's a load of people that want to come down here to not just Perth but also Aussie to race, but it's just the time, because there's actually loads of riders that can't afford not working in the winter, so they need to work or a job besides Speedway, and I think that's the most difficult thing. Me and Simon's pretty lucky we can do what we're doing with Speedway, and that's why we got the time to be here.
Oh, brilliant. Well, we all appreciate you coming down, and I must admit I missed the first year, but I think I'll be heading out to, hopefully I'll have a chat with you afterwards to maybe get some photographs and do some behind the scene shots. But I guess, Mike, is there always the opportunity for people to meet the riders like Simon and Nicolai?
Absolutely. We have this afternoon at 5 o'clock. We've got a press and practice, and that's an open gate for anyone that wants to come down and watch and meet the guys. And on the night, there'll always be opportunities earlier in the night. Obviously, once we get into the heat of the meeting, we can't have too many people running around through the pits, because these guys have got to concentrate. It's serious business when the tapes go up. So, but yeah, there'll be plenty of opportunity to meet the guys, get autographs, and just have a chat. So, yeah.
Oh, brilliant, mate. Well, all the best, guys, and Mike, all the best for another successful event. And look, if it keeps going, I'll be looking forward to the 10th anniversary, and then the 20th, the 50th, and all those sort of things. So it's a great local event. We're really stoked to support you here at 6PR Online, and guys, all the best, and we'll be staying across it to see who comes up trumps. It's I guess I should ask you any tips. Who's the smoking hot favourite here?
I actually think it's Proctor and Woodward and Ricky Welsh. Simon did really good last year. I've never been on the track before, so maybe I can be a trump card.
Ring in. Rookie luck.
Yeah,
good stuff. Well, thanks again, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.